G'day guys, and today Shorty and I are going to have a bit of a chat about the Cats up against Port. It was a bit of an upset, and I don't think many Cats fans really expected it. We expected them to come out firing, but they really challenged us, mate, and got the points in the end, winning by 40 points.
Yeah, I know.
What are your thoughts on that, mate?
Yeah, Port were really impressive. They, smashed us on the outside, especially in that third quarter. They really destroyed us, and I think, overall, Geelong, such a tough game last week, but the worry was always Port Adelaide's legs and their speed outside, and it certainly showed. I think Port beat us. They were 36 up in the uncontested possessions, 21 up in the uncontested marks, and the bounces was 9-1. So they, blokes like Pollock and Matty White early on destroyed us on the outside, and even the clearances towards the end there. Early we were all right, but I think Boak and Ebert had 16 clearances between them, and they were the main sort of statistics. But from an overall point of view, they just they were switched on, and they really beat us to the footy, and they were fantastic, Port Adelaide. But how did you see the match, mate? What impressed you about Port Adelaide?
Yeah, well, just really, they were able to run really well and link up, and their disposal efficiency was really good too. Pretty much after quarter time, it was all Port, and even still, they were in it in the first quarter. There was a goal after the siren, or on the siren by George Holland-Smith that got us the lead, but the disposal efficiency was just brilliant. They just took the game on at all costs, and they were just too quick pitch along in the end, and that's really what exposed them a little bit. And that, in some long losses, does seem to be a bit of a worrying sign. The foot speed of some other sides can be pretty concerning.
Yeah, I mean, Port Adelaide one side, Gold Coast another that could stretch us in that, regard. But also on the flip side of that, Geelong were pretty wasteful as well.
Yeah,
I thought kicking in front of goal, they didn't really take their chances, and even just going forward, like inside 50s, I think was 49 apiece. And they really should have a stat for effective inside 50s, because, the way Port Adelaide brought the ball into their 50, the speed of it as well as the accuracy and general numbers was a stark contrast in comparison to what Geelong did. But
absolutely.
Yeah, that was, a clear difference. Like you say, with the foot speed, it is something that troubles Geelong, and it will be a definite worry throughout the year for the Cats, I think.
Yeah, and also to mention, Port were very efficient going forward, as Shorty just said. They were able to hit up targets, and this is what Hawthorn do really well also. They're just able to, go that short 15-metre hit up target, and then, it really it forces Geelong to defend, and sometimes that can catch them out a bit. And without Mac tonight, showed a little bit. He seemed to be a big out.
I agree. We really did sort of lack his, drive off the defensive line as well as his defensive aspect. Thurlow really struggled, and I think it was the first time we really missed, and it showed, was Motlop and Christensen as well.
Just foot speed.
Yeah, two line breakers. Just, we could win the ball and get first to the ball on the inside, but just couldn't break away. And Port Adelaide's, 1, 2, 3, 4 handballs, and then they were out from the clearance. That was really impressive. Like Boak, Ebert, Hartlett, and
some dangerous guys there.
Yeah, they really tore us up in that respect. Yeah. And who did you think was, best of field from a Cats point of view, mate? Who'd you give your 3, 2, and 1 to?
Well, it was very tough, Shorty, because there wasn't many winners on the ground for the Cats, and they're going well when there's lots of players that are playing really well, and you don't know who's sort of in the top 3. But even when they were playing badly, it was tough to choose. But 3 went to Jimmy Bartell. He was pretty good tonight, I suppose, in leaps and bounds. But I think I remember some contest, I think it was in the third quarter, he sort of barged his way through a couple and then got it out to Murdoch. He missed, but it was just, it said to me that he wanted to will his team over the line, even though he got nowhere near them in the end. And I think he kicked a goal as well, and 24 possessions, and took about 6 marks as well. So he was in the contest in around thereabouts.
Yeah.
And 2 probably go to Mark Blitzarves. It's an interesting bit of a unique choice.
That is an interesting one, yeah.
But he was sort of in a bleak period for Geelong. He was sort of stepping up, and when he snapped that goal, it sort of gave us a bit of hope.
Yeah.
But
he was on my chopping block last week.
Yeah,
so he's bounced back well.
He's delivered, and played a bit better this week. So he must have heard you, mate. He's all over you. And probably one to Stevie J. He's influential as always. Probably wasn't as influential as last week against the Hawks. He kicked 3 goals. He got one this week and 25 possessions, and creative as usual. But again, like most of the Cats players, just a tad off. So Stevie J just gets the one there. So your best 3, mate.
I actually gave my 3 vote to Stevie Johnson. He, like you say, he wasn't as effective as last week and damaging, but I thought, especially early, he was really, given Selwood was pretty quiet for the most part, and especially in the first half, Johnson was really the one to stand up in the midfield and kick the early goal, and he was looking pretty good. I think he was the best 4-quarter performer for the Cats. And I gave my 2 votes to Mitchy Duncan. I thought he was, pretty good for the most part. Like you say, there weren't a stack of players putting their hand up to get a few votes, but I thought he was pretty solid. And my 1 vote I gave to James Kelly, who was pretty good again, like he was last week. He had quite a few touches, and probably one of the few players who used it, consistently well for Geelong. But I think Stokes could have been there and abouts, just didn't quite impact, and Jimmy was pretty good as well, but not a great deal of numbers for the Cats to really put their hand out for the best players, unfortunately.
It's often the way in a losing side. You really struggle to sort of pick 1, 2, and 3 as the 3 best players on the ground. I guess for any club, but in particular Geelong on tonight. The chopping block, mate. Who have you got on there this week?
There'll be a few, but I'm sure they won't go crazy at the selection table. But a couple that, again, George Burberry is one. I think
second week in a row.
Second week in a row, and he wasn't very impressive tonight. His disposal was lacking, and he's just a bit of a sloppy footballer at the moment. I think he'll be a good player in the future, but at the moment I don't think he's up for it, and he could make way for Stephen Motlop, who I think will, he was close, played VFL. I think he'll probably come into the side. And Jackson Thurlow, if Andrew Mackey's right, I think that'd probably be the straight reverse swap.
Pretty similar,
and potentially if Dawson Simpson is right, that'll be a bit of a tough one with Joshy Walker coming in late. I thought Walker was alright before being subbed off with a couple of goals and that, but it's a tough one. I don't think they'll go too crazy, but another guy who needs to stand up, I don't think they'll drop him, but it's Travis Farco. He's very frustrating. He's gone downhill since dominating that grand final. He's lacking confidence. He doesn't run hard enough when it's required, and I think he really needs to stamp himself on the game. It's not a good label to give someone, but I think Trav's a bit of a downhill skier at the moment, and I think he needs to step up, and if he doesn't, he could find himself playing in the 2s pretty shortly.
Yeah, it's a big call, but I think it's a warranted call with the likes of Motlop and Christensen waiting in the wings. Not so much Christensen because he's a bit injured at the moment, but I think there could be a couple of players. Even Lincoln McCarthy could sneak in for him. I think McCarthy could be a better chance to replace Burberry, but we'll see how that sort of plays itself out. But some good calls there, mate.
Interesting one, and obviously the Tigers next week, mate, which will be both sides coming off poor losses. That'll be a pretty big contest.
It's another big game for both sides. A few of the commentators are pretty much sort of saying it's Richmond's season on the line, so they'll be pretty hungry to sort of assert themselves. But some good news for the Cats, though, is Richmond haven't beaten us since 2006, so it's been a long time. But Ross Lyon will say history doesn't matter. I like to think history's got a fair chunk to do with how sides perform against others. But obviously there's no Darijoe. That might be a bit of a concern for them, and it has been for the last few weeks for Richmond. They just like that run-off halfback that he's been able to give them, and so that might give us a bit of an advantage there. But we usually respond well from a loss. So did Fremantle, and they lost 2 in a row, but they played North Melbourne, who were very good. But Should be an interesting contest. I reckon we could probably get the job done, going by how badly Richmond are going at the moment. But
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't really mean anything at this stage, does it?
Yeah.
It's on the flip of the coin, but there's more sort of room for the Tigers to maybe cause an upset
Yeah.
than there was before this game tonight.
Yeah, they'll both be pretty hungry, both sides, but traditionally we do match up and, historically play very well against Richmond. And, yeah, I'd be backing us in against the Tigers, I think. I'm not sure where Rance and Marich are out.
Yeah, I think they
moment.
could be. Yeah, they're probably either against us or maybe another week or two off.
Yeah, so they're two
close.
big players that they have been missing as well. But you'd expect Geelong to bounce back in a big way. At least I do, and I'm sure you do as well. But it's a big game, more so for Richmond, so they won't be, lying down too easy. But neither will the Cats after a bit of a shell shock loss. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a happy hunting ground at the moment for Geelong. Going to Adelaide, I think they've won one out of their last four.
Yeah.
Adelaide in 2012 got us by 50 points. Adelaide got us by a couple of points in 2013.
Yeah.
I think we bet Port by 8 goals there last year, and we go up to Adelaide Oval, and Port give us a bit of a
touch-up.
reality check, I guess. So they got the job done by 40 in the end. So not quite the 07 and 08 side that could just go anywhere and beat anyone, but the competition has evened up a lot since then. So
it has, and even Western Australian sides, the House of Pain is potentially coming back.
Yeah.
North seemed to knock off Fremantle quite well, but
terrific. Yeah,
certainly, those interstate sides are playing pretty good footy at the moment. So there's no easy wins on the road at the moment.
No, absolutely not. So it's almost three fortresses at the moment. You've got Metricon Stadium for the Gold Coast Suns. It seems to be tough to win up there.
Yeah.
I think Hawthorn were probably saying that's cute at the moment.
Yeah.
But they're usually pretty tough to beat up there. And you've got Geelong at Simmons Stadium, and now you've got Adelaide at Adelaide Oval. So it's Port Adelaide, I should say. So there's going to be a couple of tough runs on the road for a few sides this year. Going to play those teams at their home turfs there.
Yeah, no, certainly it's very tough treat all three of them. Yeah.
So those are some thoughts from Shorty and myself. Tough game for the Cats fans, but hopefully they can rebound pretty shortly and get back on the winners list and bank some more wins. So that should be pretty good. So put down some thoughts in the comments, and a shout out to my mate darijoe, who also he does the Geelong goals each week.
Yeah.
Against whoever we're playing, and he certainly does a good job of that. I used to do it, and I got into a bit of trouble. So just sticking to the traditional homemade video, and leaving that to him. So go to his channel, give him a subscription, and all that good stuff, and subscribe to us as well, which it's always good. Just check it out. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys all soon.
Yeah, no worries. Cheers.